Em tempos de pandemia, não existe negócio menos importante.
Gamers e games. What is poppin', everybody? Welcome to the Guerrilla Collective 2. I am your host, Justin Woodward, co-founder of The Mix, the media indie exchange and indie team in Terabang Entertainment. I am with my co-host, Alex Wilmer. What is poppin', Alex? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me, Justin. It is very exciting to be back for the Guerrilla Collective 2. As you said.
I'm super happy to be back. I'm happy to be in the studio.
Yes.
Where are we at?
Yeah. This is our studio here in Berkeley. We're on our Foley stage, and it's very, very nice to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Yes, of course. And as I said, this is our second annual. That was like a nice little grip. As I said, this is our second annual Guerrilla Collective event, which was initially started as a global coalition of leading game studios, publishers, and industry leaders coming together to help bring new announcements, gameplay trailers, and reveals from studios of all sizes direct to enthusiasts worldwide. And the tradition continues this year with two showcases where we are having during this showcase season. Check out our schedule right here for this week's event and next. There it is. Today we will start with a wide range of games and then connect with our friends in Japan for some Bit Summit picks and end the day with our Black Voices in Gaming post-show. Before we get started, we have to give a huge shout out to our sponsors: PlayStation, Xbox, Kickstarter, Razer, Astro Gaming, our fellow devs and publishers, Two Awesome Studio, Akupara Games, All In Games, Good Shepherd, Humble Games, Goblin Studio, Graffiti Games, Head Up, Hype Train Digital, Neon Doctrine, Raw Fury, Tiny Build, Thunderful, and of course, Whitethorn Games.
That was a mouthful.
It was a lot, and there was a lot of really good pauses in there too.
And we've also teamed up with Valve to showcase the games on Steam in order to support the devs. So be sure to check out the Guerrilla Collective event page on Steam, where you can learn more about these games, the games that you can buy right now, and some of the games coming up in the future you can wishlist now. So check out the event page, Guerrilla Collective, on Steam.
Yeah, make sure to do that. Shout out to Valve, to Steam for working with us, and also all of our other platform partners as well. Shout out to our broadcasting partners for supporting the showcase and the developers on the stream. We couldn't do it without you. Twitch, Steam, IGN, and of course, GameSpot. They have helped to host the stream, and it is super amazing. Enough of all that, though. Let's get started with our first set of games, with a few brand new exclusives, catching up with the adorable creatures in the world of Eternal Cylinder, and checking out an update for a beloved Metroidvania, as well as some up-and-coming slick indie games. Without further ado, let's go.
Transmuting this time.
In the Eternal Cylinder, players will have to explore a vibrant alien world teeming with strange life. Survival is a constant challenge, as different natural biomes each bring their own unique obstacles to overcome. For example, the extreme heat of this desert environment will quickly make your health dwindle. Luckily, the Trebhum are resourceful creatures with the unique ability to spontaneously evolve, if you feed them right. However, environmental conditions are only one of the many dangers you will face, as the world is filled with dangerous creatures, some natural, some not. The strangest of these creatures have the ability to remove your mutations, threatening your ability to survive in multiple ways. Learning all the surprising ways to interact with the creatures of this world is key to survival, as they are an essential source of vital resources. To find a way of surviving the unstoppable threat of the Eternal Cylinder, you will have to keep exploring, keep discovering. After all, there's an important trait that humans and Trebhum have in common: curiosity.
The common fox, one of nature's survivors, overcoming challenge and diversity with cunning, dexterity, and backpack miniguns. There's nothing common about this fox.
everyone, I'm Daniel Piqueras, a 23-year-old solo developer from Spain, and Axolotl is my first game. You play as a hungry axolotl with an AK, shooting his way through madness. People often ask me how I came up with the idea, and the truth is quite silly. I was joking with friends, and suddenly I said, imagine an axolotl with an AK-47? Wait. And that's pretty much how it came to life. My only goal with the game is for people to have fun, to have a good time. Nowadays, more than ever. So thank you so much for having me here and for showcasing my game. Take care and bye-bye.
I don't know about you, Alex, but I'm looking forward to not getting steamrolled by a giant cylinder, but I am looking forward to whipping some more creatures' asses in Bloodstain. Make sure to follow and support the devs, as well as pre-order and wishlist them on Steam or wherever they may be available.
True. And up next, we're taking a ride with some fast-paced action titles. Then we're switching it up for some darker, more moody vibes, as well as showing some love to a couple of games from the Black Voices in Gaming Freshman Class 2021. Let's start with a kick-ass trailer and hop into some more games.
True.
can see the towers of madness. We must open the third gate to give access to the moon once more. We do this unwillingly, but we must.
Hi, my name is David. I'm the co-founder and 3D artist at Bleak Mill, and we are developing Industria, a mystery first-person shooter in which a woman searches for her work colleague in a parallel dimension. The game is a lot inspired by Half-Life 2, BioShock, and the works of David Lynch. In this video, we want to give you an exclusive insight into what we are working on right now. The first thing to show is the new enemy type we call the Hound. They feature a pack behavior, means they have a leader and the other in the pack just follow that leader. They are quick, agile and harm the player a lot with their saw blades. The second thing we want to show you is the optic, which you can see right now. The optic is a long-range enemy that pins down the player with a machine gun. We also want to show you new environments, such as this abandoned apartment building in the city of Hokkavik. Hundreds and thousands of people lived in the city, which is now abandoned and filled with robots that want to kill the player. Throughout the game, the player will slowly find out why the robots are here, where they come from, and what they have to do with the past of the player character. If you want to support us, feel free to wishlist Industria on Steam and or follow us on our social medias like Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, and see you next time.
Look at me. Look at this place. This place is definitely not what it used to be. It's like a snake, shedding its skin over and over again. You have to learn it all over again. Feel it. Tame it. I feel you getting closer to the heart of evil. Soon you may reach a point of no return. Don't trust your own. Time. What is time, Igor? You can never change what's already occurred, because every change creates its own space-time continuum. We can be together, Igor, but you have to learn the truth if you truly want to find me. Now you must do whatever is necessary. After that, it won't matter anymore. Wait, find me. change the past, Igor. See where it leads you.
Two-story motel in El Paso, Texas that gained another 46 stories yesterday, all below ground. It's extremely haunted. And my ex is at the bottom. Dracula, Lord of the Vampires. She's waiting for me. Would you believe that this is a love story?
Olá, eu sou Will Fernandes, game designer e diretor criativo de Elder End. De Lovecraft até Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Elder End é uma mistura de minhas experiências. O gameplay conta com elementos clássicos, mas também incluímos um toque moderno ao jogo.
Path of a spirit guide is the only one.
Welcome to the grid.
Just tell me what I gotta do.
Defeat new enemies. Go and save Gora.
What is popping? I am here with Ariel Knight, Neil Jones, who just released his game. What's up, man? What's up, dude? He just released his game, Never Yield. And, you know, it's been blazing up these streets, especially as far as, like, you've got mad press and everything. But we're here to talk about Black Voice in Gaming, freshman class, and really how that came together, because it's been a real magical experience. So can you kind of talk about that and like what it is?
Yeah, so Black Voices in Gaming freshman class was an idea where we kind of reach out to the upcoming games made by Black talent in the game development space, in the game industry. When I first kind of thought of it, I really wanted it to be kind of like just something to highlight all of these games that were coming out relatively soon, and show that like all of these creators in this space, we're all in it together and we support each other, rather than it being some kind of competition and, you know, only highlighting one or two people. We can all support each other because there's room enough for everybody. So, and then when, you know, we talked about the idea, like you definitely just like took it and ran with it and put the whole thing together, and reaching out to everybody with you was like really amazing. Everything went really smoothly. So if you haven't checked out the list yet, you know, I don't know if it's posted in the comments or anything like that, but just look up Black Voices in Gaming freshman class. It should pop up, and all of those amazing games are there.
Yeah, you can also check it out on blackvoicesingaming.com. That kind of like really jump started that website too. We had it kind of cooking up since the last Guerrilla Collective, but really wasn't able to really put it into full effect until we did launch the freshman class. And I can say it was amazing. Like Neil had, like, I think we were just eye to eye, you know what I mean? Just thinking about this stuff, because the freshman class really came from the XXL, which I'm a huge hip hop head, and I used to I couldn't wait and to see that cover, and to see who was on it. I mean, until like maybe it got crazy with like a bunch of like mumble rap stuff that I didn't even know about, but that's besides the point, you know?
Yeah, man, it was really exciting. Especially when we started off with a lot smaller of a group of, you know, games, just like people we kind of knew of, you know, closely, that was a part of the Guerrilla Collective, or that you featured, or who I just kind of knew personally. And then like you kind of reached out to more people and like really packed the list up more with games that I didn't even know that was coming out. So yeah, man, it was really cool. And like you know, it just came up with me and you just randomly talking, you know, how we just hop on and start talking about stocks and video games and stuff like that.
yeah, it's really cool to have that community. Like I don't know, it's just flourishing. Like Neil's been, you know, hooking me up with contacts of people I should connect with to you know, get press, or, you know, for potential business deals, and you know, vice versa. And we met like a year ago, actually, like on on stream was the first time that we talked. So like kind of to throw it back to this was kind of dope, you know?
Yeah, man. Like, and I think like the more like Black people in this game industry, because we're so spread out. Like, there's a lot of us, but you know, we're all over the place, and we don't really know each other in that way. So like, the more of a community we have, and the more of us, the more we can support each other and help each other. Because, you know, my whole thing and the whole reason behind this was just to like be like, hey, look at all these other games that, you know, we're often on a list together for Black History Month, but we never even talked to each other. My first time really talking to Nelson, who worked who made Dog Airport, was, you know, when we were putting this together. So it was really just cool meeting everybody and seeing how chill everybody was, because like once we like pitched these creators the idea, they sent us the concept for, you know, what character they wanted to be a part of the poster, and they just kind of like let us do our thing.
Yes, it's super cool to see the different art styles and the different types of games that we're making. They're not all the same, and I think that sometimes we get pigeonholed into like making a certain type of game. So like to see, you know, Onsen Master, where you're like, you know, you're managing a natural spring, like, bathhouse. Like, that's what, like, who would have thought that someone would make that, let alone, a black game developer. And I'm making a freaking Jay and Silent Bob game, so no one knows that I'm I'm black, or my team is is extremely diverse. Like, James is, he's also gay, and he's a black man in Georgia, and he's like our art director. Like, we got Evan Washington, who's going to be on the stream, and he worked at Sony, and he's also a producer on our team. Like, but we're making a Jay and Silent Bob game, and you're like, what the hell? Like, those are like two white dudes portrayed as potheads, and it's like, okay, but that's what we decided to make at that moment. We'll definitely get into like more thematic, like culturally relevant stuff for us, but that was what we were working at the time. So it's so interesting to like that culmination, and also to see, just in general, like the lack of access that some of us have had in the industry. Like, some of us have been in the industry and playing that game, the political game, for a while, but a lot of us haven't, and are making like dope ass games. Like Adam Kareem, right? He's in software, but this is like really his first time in the business. So like, he's asking all these questions and stuff,
Yeah, and it just shows, that no matter what your background, where you from, hey, we are down to connect with you, to support you, and to promote you as much as we can. I will say, if we do like another list, I now that the first list is out there, and like people kind of know about it and it has a little bit of attention, the other black creators out there who that we aren't connected with, because we only know who we know. We want y'all to reach out to us and say, hey, what's up, and anything that we can do to help you, we want to do that. But like this first list, it was like really quick. We did this in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So it was like really fast forwarded. So we just want to reach out to more people of all like black backgrounds, and like kind of just make sure that we can support you the best we can.
Yeah, for sure. And we've shouted them out before, but I want to shout out Humble for helping to support like the black voice in gaming. If it wasn't for Humble, Kickstarter, Raw Fury, those folks, we wouldn't be able to basically fund that whole thing, that whole promotion, and also I'm one of the advisors on the Black Game Developer Fund for Humble, so I'm always trying to find. Yeah, I'm you know what I mean? I'm flexing right now, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like we would love to get in contact with more developers. We have, a Discord server that we're communicating on, and it's blowing up. I know it's blowing Neil up while he's like working on his stuff. But we're just here really to help and boost the confidence and exposure for everyone. So yeah, it's been really dope.
Yeah, because we haven't really run into any problems. Everybody just been super chill, and like we're just trying to keep that momentum going, because I think we all kind of know the situation we're in, where we're all the underdog, no matter where we are in the game industry. If you're an HR, if you're a developer, if you're a streamer, we all in the same place. And like the streamers really came out and supported us too when we kind of put this list out there. They went out and looked up these other games and tried to support them. And if you didn't know about the list, now you know. So like, keep a lookout for the next one. I don't know when that's going to be, whenever we can.
We'll try to do it again, but probably once a year, but maybe we could do it twice, because there's some folks that we kind of left out that are dropping in 2021, 2022. So
yeah, that was the point I was making. Like we did miss people, and it wasn't intentional. It was just like, it was fast moving. We were trying to get this thing out, and we only know so many people. We only got so many connections, but we wanted to expand that to like as many people as we can.
Yeah, for sure. So where can the folks find you, Neil?
Oh, you can find me at Ariel_Knight on Twitter and everywhere else.
Cool, man. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, make sure to check out Black Voice in the Game.
Man. You've been amazing. The Guerrilla Collective is dope. You put together this list. You did way more work than I did, but I just appreciate you, taking like this idea and just running with it and doing your thing.
For sure. And we got the Black Voice in Gaming coming up pretty soon for the Guerrilla Collective. So make sure to check out that. I just wanted to make sure to talk to Neil, and it's been awesome. So I'll catch you later, man.
All right, man.
All right. Peace.
I mean, it's so great to see some of the new titles and also follow up with teams like Retro Ninja with their game Run Die Run Again to see how their game is coming together as they iterate on the design mechanics and just overall graphics. El Paso Elsewhere and Run Die Run Again were both games from developers who were also included in Black Voice in Gaming freshman class. The Black Voice in Gaming stream was first started last year's Guerrilla Collective during the time of civil unrest. Check out the Black Voice in Gaming post show.
After the show?
Faux show.
Up next, we have a few exclusives on the RPG strategy side of town that will have you dungeon crawling and brawling.
So let's slash into those pieces right now.
Check it.
Butt naked.
Okay, people, listen up. Let me tell you about the guild where dungeoneers will be killed. A new volunteer, hurrah, 3 cheers. Oh, it's dungeoneer time. Look at these pitiful fools. Dungeoneering is deliciously cool. Play your cards right, you might win a fight. Oh, it's dungeoneer time. And just in case you're wondering, we want to be pillaging. We want to be plundering. We want to be dungeoneering. Okay, people, listen up again. You place monsters in the way. See how they run away. New recruits can get all the loot. Oh, it's dungeoneer time. Let me hear you again now. Just in case you're wondering, we want to be pillaging. We want to be plundering. We want to be dungeoneering.
Once upon a time, our lands teemed with creatures great and small. The beauty of the worlds was unrivaled. The people thrived and lived in harmony with the land around them. But this harmony was not to last. Slowly, without much notice, the withering was creeping out from the darkness. Once it took hold, there was little that could be done. Our lands were overrun, and all that was cherished disappeared before us. But all was not lost. One young, brave soul stayed behind. With support from their friends and with boundless determination, this young soul seeks out a way to push back the withering and bring life back to our world. Grow, Song of the Evertree.
Gothor! Medium plus demon of destruction! The gates have fallen! Heroes are rampaging the temple! We need a miracle! More blood? We could offer you many things! Gold, beasts, shows, or...
Once upon a time, 3 courageous tinkerers lived together in the woods. They settled and lived a wonderful life, building their home, went hunting and defied any weather, and explored distant lands in search of new resources and hidden treasures.
Welcome to Tinkertown. My name is Julian and I'm with HeadUp, the publisher and developer behind this charming pixel sandbox RPG. Since Tinkertown went into early access last November 2020, we've continuously updated the game. We've added more customization options, new items from weapons, housing to decorations, farming, fishing, cooking, as well as more game mechanics. And as we've been developing with you, the community, we've decided to give the next update some more awesome features you've been waiting for. So beware of the Desert Dungeon. The Desert Dungeon not only delivers new enemies, but with it, we've added behavior trees to all our NPCs, making them more aware of their surroundings and more challenging. Be cautious when entering the dungeon, as it is filled with new mechanics, most prominent traps. Poisonous arrow traps and monster ambush are only a few of what is to come, and a new powerful boss awaiting you. The new patch will be available for you to play on June 16. See you in Tinkertown.
We are the Zodiac Legion. Our enemies beset us on all sides. Once, our knightly brotherhood stood as a bulwark against the forces of evil. But when the stars abandoned the world, we were left weak, divided and lost. We could rely only on the strength of our arms and eternal devotion to our cause. But today, the tides of magic course through the land once again, and we are ready to reclaim our lost heritage. We have taken the fight to the enemy. Empowered by the Zodiac, our champions can bend the battlefield to their will, shattering the enemy's formations with magic and vanquishing their minions with righteous fury. We explore ancient ruins in search of forgotten artifacts to support our war effort, slaying the horrors that stand in our way. Yet some of these abominations may prove more than a match, and our brothers may bear the ultimate sacrifice to bring about victory for the entire order. The blood of the fallen shall inspire the rest of us to carry on. As we grow stronger in the ways of the Zodiac, we learn how to adapt our approach. The spirit of Taurus allows our warriors to break through stone, giving their comrades the opportunity to flank the enemy and drive a salient into their defenses in a single mighty charge. With the foe's shield wall in disarray, nothing can stop us from delivering the killing blow. But we won't win through bold deeds alone. We need to equip our champions for the many tasks that lie ahead and choose our battles wisely. The dungeons of our adversaries still hold our long-lost brothers, whose zeal could not be quenched even by death. We must rescue them and secure their escape by any means if we are to deliver them safely to our citadel, where their wisdom will drive our scholars towards new discoveries. Yet the engines of war grind on through all the lands. The enemy seeks to flood us with even more misshapen monstrosities, while we drown them in a rain of fire. We are the Zodiac Legion. We are the light of hope, aglow in the dark of night. And we will not falter as long as the stars guide our blades.
That was awesome. So many great games in every genre. I'm really happy to see the new ideas and remixes of styles come into the mix this summer.
Yeah, such dope stuff. Next up, we have a cornucopia of lighthearted and Twitch action games that will test your hand and eyeball coordination, have you competitive with your friends, and put a big smile on your face. Let's kick it.
Hi, I'm Annika from Happy Broccoli Games. We're a small studio based in Berlin. We're a bunch of weird people making an even weirder game called Kraken Academy. It's a comedy high school adventure that is coming out later this year. You're the new kid at school who is tasked to save the school from doom and destruction by a huge magical kraken with big dad energy. This game is a love letter to 90s anime and Zelda Majora's Mask, so if you like any of those two things, you should definitely check it out. I'm super excited to show you today, for the first time ever, our hand-animated trailer that we commissioned to showcase the game. Now, it's a really big deal for us to have such an awesome trailer, so I really hope you enjoy it. If you like what you see, don't forget to wishlist, it really helps us out. Thank you so much.
Three, two, one, go!
Kung Fu Kickball is a team-based fighting sports game where the best ball kicker wins. You gotta punch, kick, and headbutt your way across the field to smash the ball into your opponent's bell and rack up points. Hi there, I'm Jonah Wallerstein, the creator of Kung Fu Kickball, and I'm super excited to have my game included in the second annual Guerrilla Collective. The game has been in early access on Steam for a little over a month now, and we're just getting started. So today I'd like to announce a new character joining the ballgame. That's right, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, is ready to unleash his monkey-style kung fu on the playing field. He'll be available with our next update, landing at the end of the month, but you'll need to demonstrate your skills as a true kickball master to get him to join your roster. So look forward to challenging the Monkey King in a few weeks and keep an eye out for Kung Fu Kickball, coming to console later this year.
Hi everyone, my name is David Jimenez, Game Director at Tuosusto. I'm proud to introduce our new game, Eon Drive, a new chapter in the story of Jacqueline, our main heroine. Eon Drive is a stylish speed-running platformer set on the streets of Cyberpunk City near Barcelona. With it, we want to show you a bit of our city in a different light than you may be used to. In Eon Drive, you can rush your way through its areas solo or with 4 people in co-op mode. Eon Drive is coming out later this year for PC and all major consoles, with the help of our publishing partner, Critical Reflex. Please check out the new trailer for the game. We hope you like it.
We've been hit! 30 seconds to find all the drive cores. No time to waste then. We're through. Let's get to it. And now, a little something to whet your appetite.
I can't even believe the type of game. It's just phenomenal.
Super dope.
Before we move on to the next segment, we want to say thanks to our broadcasting partners, Twitch, GameSpot, Valve, and IGN. Thank you so much for supporting and hosting the stream. We also want to thank all of our other sponsors here. They're coming up right now. They're so amazing. We love you guys so much. Over the year, we have seen some exciting releases from some of the most amazing developers that have blessed the Guerrilla Collective and other mix events, as well as the other events that have been popping up digitally all year.
Yes. And up next, we have a collection of action and exploratory adventure games that are going to tug on your heartstrings, Justin.
They are definitely making me pitter-patter.
They will. And we'll also check out a couple of updates on some award-winning games that are soon to become contemporary classics.
Let's do this.
Imagine that humanity, in its ceaseless quest to ravage the planet, has driven even one of the most adaptable creatures in the animal kingdom, the fox, to extinction. As the last fox on Earth, you're fighting for survival in search of the rare sources of food left in this dying world. But you're not searching food just for yourself alone. Your clumsy cubs are eagerly waiting for your return and the safety of your shelter. Until that fateful day, when something or someone takes one of your young foxes. The loss of a youngling is a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching moment, but as long as there's hope, the vixen will try everything to get it back. This is where your keen sense of smell comes in handy. You can sense the smell of your cub and can even sense some traces left behind. Dropped objects tell you the story of what happened at these locations. Your sensing skills are also very useful to find prey, as animals also leave a trace you can smell and follow. And you will need that skill, because your other cubs still need your attention. As they grow up, they will leave the shelter and accompany you on your nightly adventures. They are new to this world, so keep the little ones close and safe. Over time, they will learn essential life skills and can do their part for the survival of the group. Nights are dangerous enough when perilous traps and other predators threaten your cubs. But during the day, the most dangerous predators of them all start roaming the world. Humans. It's your job to guide your vulnerable cubs safely through the dystopian future of an exploited Earth. On your journey to the last safe haven, you must overcome all the dangers that lie ahead. Survive. This is Endling.
I'm Michelle, the game director of Beasts of Maravilla Island, a 3D adventure game about discovering extraordinary creatures, learning their behaviors, and most importantly, photographing their majesty. Today I'm going to show off some content from a zone we haven't shared much gameplay of before, the Glimmering River. This luminous locale is home to a number of unique beasts, from mushroom frogs to bats with butterfly wings to mischievous otter crocodiles that love to play. Each of these critters has a unique reaction to Marina. We can't wait for you to find and photograph them all. The Glimmering River features puzzles where you must cooperate with the animals in the area in order to progress. For example, using the Maravian-scaled otter, or as we like to call him, the otter dials, playful spit behavior to grow flowers that'll take you up to new areas. One of our favorite parts of the Glimmering River is a game of fetch that you get to play with the otter dial. If you wait for just the right moment, you can catch a shot of him doing an impressive backflip before diving down into the water to fetch his toy. This is one of the many opportunities to engage with creatures in meaningful and non-violent ways in store for you on Maravilla Island. Beasts of Maravilla Island is coming soon to Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC. We're so excited to see the amazing photos that you take.
Hi, my name is Eleanor and I voice the sister in The Lightbringer. Today I'm giving you a quick deep dive into the game to take a closer look at the gameplay. The Lightbringer is a poetic adventure platformer with a heartfelt narrative presented entirely in verse. The world has been claimed by vile corruption, filling it with vicious, slimy beings. Your sister set out on a journey to rid the world of these evil entities, but somewhere along her journey, she vanished under unknown circumstances. Now the task of saving the world has fallen upon you. Guided by your sister's spirit, you aim to succeed where she could not. The goal of each level is to reach a monolith and cleanse it from the corruption that has taken control of it. You do this by collecting power in the form of light motes that are spread throughout the level, often cleverly hidden outside a beaten path. Best keep your eyes peeled. Your journey will take you through tropical islands, icy tundras, dark dungeons, and mountaintops high above the clouds, all with their own unique mechanics. Each level works as its own little world, filled with platforming challenges, puzzles, and enemies. Speaking of enemies, you'll often find yourself fighting the corruption, both smaller enemies as well as large sentinels brought to life by the corruption. These encounters will test both your skill and determination, and they will not give up without a fight. We hope you have enjoyed this quick presentation, and we look forward to showing you more this summer. As for the game's release date, it'll be out when it's out.
Hi everyone, I'm Josué Monchan. I'm narrative designer on Vertigo at Pendulum Studios. Vertigo is a narrative and adventure game freely inspired by the movie masterpiece directed by Alfred Hitchcock. The main themes of the game are roughly the same ones that appear in the movie: obsession, madness, manipulation, identity, and the confusion between imagination, dreams, memory, and reality. We've used a lot of Hitchcock's storytelling techniques, from his special use of suspense, the focus on the psychological side of action, his marriage, depiction of reality, and of course the MacGuffin. We've also been studying Hitchcock's camera work, subjective shots, his use of detail shots, and even the dolly zoom effect, also known as vertigo effect. In the movie, the spectator always knows more than the main character. You have to translate that into the game and let the player know more than the actual character that they are controlling.
Amazing games. Of course, it's pitter patter on my heart. It's just every time I'm feel like I'm getting a shot of adrenaline. Those are some awesome, maybe that's not adrenaline, but those are some awesome games. Next up, our friends at Neon Doctrine, formerly another indie, have joined us to show some of their amazing titles.
Let's check it out
now.
Hey everyone, we are Neon Doctrine, purveyors of exquisite games from around the world. We hope you enjoy this showcase of our upcoming titles. Neon Doctrine is proud to be based in the city of Taipei, so it brings us great pleasure to introduce you to the legend of Tianding. Set in Taipei and featuring Taiwan's most famous folk hero, we cannot wait for you to see the place we love and experience an interesting piece of local history.
Product not yet rated.
From the Far East to the countryside of New England, we'd like to welcome you to Grow Hill Manor, where the science of the 19th century meets unspeakable ancient horror. Don't get lost now. You'll never know what you'll see if you open the wrong door. Without further ado, Lamentum awaits. Marriage, love, and devotion can lead to acts of personal sacrifice. But for my lovely wife's hero, these noble acts are twisted into acts of depravity. Would you be willing to betray and murder those who trust you in order to save your true love? How far would you go to bring back your lovely wife? Our free-to-play multiplayer PvP shoot-'em-up Retrograde Arena is available now on Nintendo Switch. And the best part, it's free. We have a friend we would like to introduce you to. And I think it's best if he speaks for himself.
Hello, my name is Jacob Jazz. Hello, my name is Jacob Jazz, and I come here to tell you a story. This is the story of a pizza dude. That's what nobody ever knew, is that he was already dead when he died. He was dead when he died. When he died, surrounded by VHS tapes, and cannibals, was dead when he died. When he died. Hello, my name is Jacob Jazz. The dinosaurs are real when he died. Published by Neon Doctrine and developed by one single person. You will play this game with some tacos next 2022. When he died, a first-person murder adventure game set on the Bayonet's Mausoleum universe, part of the Jacob Jazz trilogy. Welcome to the most infamous dinners of all. When he died.
I hope you enjoyed these games as much as me, enjoyed introducing them. You can head over to our Discord or Guilded to talk to us, the developers who work with us, and our amazing community. But wait, what's this? We have a sneak peek of an unannounced title. I'm very happy to present to you Project Althea.
thank you so much to all the developers and to you for tuning in. And make sure to check out the Steam Guerrilla Collective event page and wishlist some of these games.
Yeah, definitely support the developers. For our first day's finale, we are going to be traveling to the east to connect with our friends at Bit Summit, who will be showing some of the most inventive and interesting games coming out of Japan. Let's get it.
You can already see it. But Whitewater Wipeout is a surfing game for the Playdate that pays homage to the classic California games. Plus, it's made by our boss and legend, Giles Goddard.
I'm current CEO, Giles Goddard.
We haven't announced it yet, dang it!
Phoenix!
Inti Creates and Sunsoft present the final piece of a trilogy. A metal attacker embarks on a brand new adventure. The side view and top-down action is more intense than ever before. Jason's third battle against mutant kind is about to begin. What new threats await him in a new dimension? The pinnacle of mutant blasting action is here! Blaster Master 03! A new chapter in Blaster Master history unfolds. July 29th, 2021. Inti Creates. Azure Striker Gunvolt 3.
That was super cool. Bit Summit is awesome. Can't wait to go back to Kyoto to experience it when we can.
Amazing. Yeah, that was the best. I think if you get a chance to go to Bit Summit, do it. Take it. It's amazing.
Yeah, shout out to them for showing their games on this showcase for sure. Thanks once again to our sponsors and broadcasting partners for their support. We're going to shout them out here once again. PlayStation, Xbox, Kickstarter, Razer, Astro Gaming, our fellow devs and publishers, Two Awesome Studio, Akupara Games, All In Games, Good Shepherd, Humble Games, Goblin Studios, Graffiti Games, Head Up, Hype Train Digital, Neon Doctrine, Raw Fury, Tiny Build, Thunderful, and Whitethorn Games.
Yes, and be sure to check out the Guerrilla Collective event page on Steam where you can learn more about the games, wishlist those games, buy the games that are available now, check it out. Wishlists help, so do it.
Do it. Definitely support them. Thanks to Wilmer Sound. Sir, you have been awesome for opening up your space.
Yes, I'm so happy to open my space to you.
Always, I love being in your space. Thanks to the Mix Team, AV Society, Timmy, Abe, Fully Illustrated, everybody who's contributed on this stream. That wraps up day one of Guerrilla Collective 2. Coming up next is our next installment of Black Voice in Gaming, where Alfonso Hooker will be joining me for some interviews and exclusive gameplay sessions with some amazing devs and their dope games. Be sure to stay tuned at the same time next Saturday at 8 a.m. PST, 5 p.m. CET, where the Guerrilla Collective gaming greatness will continue, along with the spotlight on uplifting and thoughtful indie games in Wholesome Direct. We're going to take a quick break and come back with some more Guerrilla Collective with Black Voices in Gaming next. See you soon. Oh Lord, we are back early. Black Voices in Gaming hasn't started yet. I am here with my friend Alfonso Hooker. Anyway, yeah, Black Voices in Gaming is coming up next, but we're going to shoot you with a blast from the past from last year's Guerrilla Collective with Wilbert Roget's amazing interview. And then stay tuned after that for the Black Voices in Gaming from Guerrilla Collect 2. We'll see you in a bit. Hooker. Will is an amazing composer. He worked on Mortal Kombat.
I like how I have a
11.
shitty Dixie, like a shitty cup.
I believe the sound design and the music for that. I talked a bit about him. Talked with him a little bit about that before. And he also is composing and doing the audio design for a game, Anew, which is it's an independent game. It's really awesome. Worked on Crystal Dynamics, on Tomb Raider, I believe, and some other projects. So it'll be awesome to talk with him and also showcase Anew. Okay, so let's roll to the trailer.
Try to keep one up right now. Just
check it out.
Test it. I'm gonna clean this off because it's like fingerprint prone.
That's it.
What?
Screen?
Just the back.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, you can't use Clorox on screens, homie. Man, come on, that's sacrilege.
Who did that song?
What happened?
Did you see the event?
Wait, what happened? So that was the dope trailer from Anu. The game is sick. I first witnessed the game, checked out the game on Kickstarter, and then when I was working at Fig for publishing, I was like, oh, we gotta get that game, and then it had a successful Kickstarter, and then the next time I saw it was at the Mix, actually, where it was being showcased in LA for E3, and I met Will for the first time, and the rest of the team. So we got Will on the line. What is happening, Will?
Hey, how's it going?
All right. Okay, cool. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, cool. I can hear you.
Oh, yes. Perfect.
Awesome. It's nice to see you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. I mean, unfortunately, obviously, E3 and GDC couldn't happen this year. But again, thank you so much for having us on this program.
Yeah, for sure. And guess where we're at? Where you're on the podcast. So we're in Wilmer Sound Studios. We set everything up here, the whole situation. So we have a proper studio, sound studio and everything. And I met Will and actually had an engaging conversation for the first time here during our podcast. So it's great to have you back and talk to you. It's really fascinating your experience in the game space. I did not know, the wealth of experience you had. So, can you tell a little bit about your background before we hop into the game?
Sure, yeah. I specialize in game music. Just sorry to make a brief correction, but I don't do sound design for games. I just focus on the music.
Oh, sorry about that.
So, no worries. So, I started quite a long time ago, and eventually I made my way to LucasArts as a music editor. And then from there, I started to write original scores for Star Wars games like The Old Republic, the MMO, as well as Star Wars First Assault and Monkey Island 2 Special Edition. And then after LucasArts ended, I started my independent career as a music composer. And that's when I did Lara Croft's Temple of Osiris, Dead Island 2, and eventually Call of Duty World War II, Mortal Kombat 11, Star Wars Vader Immortal, and now anew The Distant Light. And that's kind of
that's super dope.
My background, pretty much, yeah.
It's really cool to see that you're doing that and to make that connection like we were talking about before. Is like when I am able to see another Black developer or someone in games, it's like an immediate connection, just because there's so few of us. It's awesome. Also, I was geeking out about Mortal Kombat at the time when we talked, because I'm so obsessed. And to know that you were a part of that process was really great. And then to make the connection that you're also doing things independently, that's amazing as well. We have Anu here. We're gonna play the game. This dude's gonna drive. Let's hop into it. So can you tell us how you got locked into Anu? How did you jump into this game and into the team?
Yeah, it's interesting. This was a long time ago. It must have been the end of 2014, maybe early 2015, that I started on this project. And I believe Jeff Spoonhauer was our... before I start, this game is made by only 2 people. So it's really weird to say who does what, because literally it's 2 people making the whole game, Steve Copeland and Jeff Spoonhauer. But Jeff, who's more of the artist, he played Lara Croft's Temple of Osiris, and I guess he liked the music, and so he reached out to me, and he showed me just a brief visual demo of it's kind of like a look development thing where they were showing some of the day-night cycles in the first level, and I just thought it was so gorgeous, and I'd worked on high profile franchise titles for quite some time, but I really wanted some sort of an indie project that was more focused on making kind of a very artistic statement, if that makes sense. Not needing to be big, but instead very focused and personal, I guess is the way I want to put it, and unique. And this was exactly it. I mean, I feel so lucky that it almost kind of fell into my lap just like that. The art style is something I've never seen before. And just the way that they work and the direction that they gave me was so radically different from anything I'd ever seen. Normally you start a game and maybe you'll get some reference tracks, and they're usually from like film scores or sometimes even other game scores, and it's like, this is what we want. Well, in this case, all the reference I got was 20th century art music. It was modern art music rather than any kind of scoring. They were showing me Bartok and John Adams and Debussy and Datavara and all these interesting 20th century composers. And so what I did was I wrote in a style that harkens back to that, while also incorporating a lot of like 1960s mode style synthesizer and things like that, to just get a unusual sound that's quite alien and quite foreign, but also makes sense internally. Like you can see, especially once you, I believe this demo eventually gets to some of the alien constructs, you can see that this is a civilization that you've landed in. And it's real, it's developed, but it's just so radically different from anything on Earth. And I wanted to evoke that with the music.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was playing the last couple of days, and like what you're saying about the art style and the presentation, it is something that I haven't seen before. It feels like a mixed medium art piece, right? You have these textured layers that look like paper, right? The foreground and the background, but then you have these 3D elements, and everything is tied together so well that when you you get to the alien world, it does feel like a foreign place in a surreal type of way, which I definitely respect. So that's interesting how you came about that. Can you tell us a little bit about like how you get started as far as like, so you talked about like the reference that you use and what they've kind of talked about the textures that they want in the music, but how do you get started as far as like with composition?
Yeah, so by the way, if you want to get out of this ship, I think you go up and to the left, and then you're trying to get down. So there's like a chute that you go down to get to the next level.
Thanks.
Sorry,
I'm here to struggle, but brother, just leave me.
Gameplay, so it's big on exploration. It's not super easy to. Yeah. I think you go down this elevator.
Down right there. Yeah.
But as far as my process, I'm quite old-fashioned. In fact, you can almost see here. I always start with scoring on paper, because for me that just lets me be freely creative. I don't have to worry about the technicalities of working on a PC right away. And once I have pieces fleshed out like that, just being freely creative and not having to worry about the reality of how is this all going to come together in the production. Then I go to the PC and develop things there. And once that's all finished and I have approval from the developers, that's when I seek out the live musicians to perform the score.
Oh, okay. So you're working with live musicians.
Quite frequently, yeah. I'm very lucky to be able to do that.
That is awesome. Is that how you approach most of your compositions? Is live? I see a guitar in the background too. So you must be picking up.
Yeah.
Because I think you told us about this before. You play mad instruments. Like you play a ton of different instruments, right?
Yeah, well, I apologize for what's about to happen here, but like I have a whole rack of
wow.
Man, you can't even see, but like
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm mostly a flautist. In fact, that's me playing right now. But I try to work with other musicians as much as possible, and in fact, I try to specifically write parts for the players, in particular, that I plan to hire later on, just kind of playing to their strengths and what I know that they enjoy, what I hope that they'll enjoy performing. Because that's, again, kind of a more old school, traditional way of thinking about music. I'm not super keen on the modern MIDI-based stuff.
Yeah.
I'd much rather work with people. That's just a lot more satisfying to me personally.
Totally. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Well, I mean, it's very inspiring what you do and how you work and stuff. Do you have any advice for young composers getting into the game and who are interested in making this happen but may have been struggling, to figure out how to make things happen?
Yeah, this might sound a little bit cheesy, but the answer is real friendships. And that's honestly what carries you in so many different ways. Like, first off, on the subject of musicians and the creation of these scores, if you make friends with other musicians, maybe they're fellow composers, maybe they're performers who are trying to start that career, you can have them perform on your demos and on your scores and whatnot. And now suddenly your music sounds way better than your competition who's just using these MIDI, fake versions of the same thing. You have the real musicians performing. So there's that angle, but then there's also, and this is kind of, the way I say it is you have to kind of play the long game.
Yeah.
In terms of like career development and whatnot. A friend that you make in 2014 might end up being someone who leads you to get a project 5-10 years later even. Like my first gig at LucasArts, I got that because I was, before that, working on a bunch of indie games, and I worked with a sound designer who eventually got hired at LucasArts, and then when they were hiring for a music editor, they were like, why not hire that Will Roger guy? And these things kind of just snowballed over time, and one gig kind of led to another, not because of that gig in particular, but because of the people that I encountered working on those projects.
That is totally true. I've found that exactly the same. Like, when you're starting out, you're grinding, you're just trying to make things happen, and you're meeting all these cool people and being nice to them and formulating these friendships and just like naturally being interested in what they do and how they love to express themselves has allowed us, allowed me personally to keep moving forward and up. I mean, you never know. I may be hitting you up like, hey, we got this cool project that we're trying to work on, and we work together or something like that. Or someone sees this stream or something like that. So, but thank you so much for hopping on. I hope that we can connect in the future. That was a new Distance Light, right? Distant Light.
A new Distant Light.
The Distant Light. Amazing. I didn't even realize that you played the flute in that particular point in the game. And I didn't realize it was all live either. That is so dope, dude. Like, cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much. And check out Anu. I believe that you can, what is it called? You can wishlist it now. Check it out. It's coming out soon. So, this dude's still playing.
That's it. I can't put this down. Okay, all right.
But yeah, we'll hit you up soon. Anu.
Awesome game, brother. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and I would love to continue to work with you as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. What is happening, everyone? Welcome back. I am your host, Justin Woodward, co-founder of The Mix, the media indie exchange, Guerrilla Collective, and indie game development team in Terabang Entertainment. Welcome back to the Guerrilla Collective 2, a coalition of leading game studios, publishers, and industry leaders coming together to help bring new announcements, gameplay trailers, and reveals from studios of all sizes direct to the gamers, you, worldwide. In this segment, we are going to hop into the mix Black Voices in Gaming to celebrate amazing Black developers in the industry. But first, I am joined today by my homie, Alfonso Hooker. Tell them about yourself. What's up, man?
Hey, everybody. It's Alfonso. I'm founder of Tech Perfect and board chair at Gameheads. So, Gameheads is a youth of color organization focused on gaming and technology for underserved youth. So please support the organization. Go to GameheadsOakland.org and check them out.
Yeah, definitely support Gameheads. Gameheads is an amazing organization. Just a little bit about Black Voice in Gaming. It was created in June of 2020 during the Guerrilla Collective 1, during the protests and demonstrations that united us all over the world. It was pretty crazy. We're in turmoil, and we were trying to figure out what to do during this E3 season or showcase season, and we decided to work with folks such as Raw Fury and make this happen. Shout out to our sponsors for today's showcase: PlayStation, Xbox, Raw Fury, who helped to make this whole thing happen in the first place, as well as Humble Games. I am one of the advisors on the Humble Games Black Game Developer Fund, which has been an amazing fund. Also, shout out to Razer for their support. Yes, Humble Games. We funded so far, which is crazy, around 14 games prototypes right now. And some of the developers are on this stream, and we're on the previous showcase that we just had for Guerrilla Collective, and we'll be there next week as well. We also have a Steam event page, so check out the Guerrilla Collective event page on Steam to learn more about the Black Voices in Gaming titles, buy the ones that are available, or add games to your wish list. Wish lists definitely help the developers a ton, so go ahead and support them. We are also, this is going to be something new we're doing today, is we're going to be taking questions from Twitter. So if you tweet at Guerrilla Collect, it's not Guerrilla Collective, but Guerrilla Collect, we will pop your questions up on the stream and answer them as best as we can, or talk to the devs about that as well. Also, check out blackvoicesingaming.com. We're going to be populating that with the devs here. Enough of all that. Let's hop into our first game with Onsen Master from Waken Oni Games. And that is
Derek Fields.
Yeah, Derek Fields. Okay, we are good to go. Let's look at the trailer, and then we'll hop into the interview. That was the trailer for Onsen Master. We have Derek on the line on the stream. What is happening, Derek?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for joining us again. It was so awesome to have you on the stream last time and to catch up when you're so close to release. Or can I even say that?
Yeah, you can. We are close. Onsen Master is coming out this year, and it's been going well. So it's a good time to be able to be featured here again.
Yeah, and we have it now, so we're actually gonna be playing it live, which is dope. I was playing it for a while, you know, last night, just kind of get the lay of the land, and it's really addictive. So Alfonso's going to be driving. Let's hop into it.
Good luck.
Definitely good luck. I was like throwing grannies left and right, or grandpas left and right on that. I was like, let me prep the bathwater, you know. Can you tell us about like basically how you got started and kind of where you're going from here?
Yeah, you know, it's been a bit of a journey. Own semester, as well as my background in games, started with creating this game as a sort of hobbyist project. At the time, I was at a point in my life where I was, you know, like any other post-grad, living with roommates and trying to figure out what you wanted to do next. And so, yeah, we started tooling about Own semester as just, oh, this might be something that would be cool to create. And as it started to take formation and really develop into something, we realized that it's probably a project that we'd really want to take further. And so we pursued Kickstarter, got a publisher. Shout outs to Whitethorn Games for supporting us, and now we're releasing this title. As far as everything else between there, a lot of us are working part-time, you know, have lives that have gone on to do other things. I have family, all those types of things now. And so Waking Yoni Games, we're pursuant of wanting to create games that insert Black individuals, BIPOC individuals into sort of anime-inspired media and narratives. And that's where we're headed with Own semester and the titles to follow.
Nice. Can you tell us a little bit about the mechanics and how you can? I mean, have you been? I know I gotta ask this, and that maybe sound ignorant, but have you been to like a bunch of onsens? Did you like go and try out all the pampering like techniques and stuff?
I did, and it was a combination of both. So Own semester is inspired by the beloved Ghibli film Spirited Away. And really asking the question, you know, what would it be like to run your own hot spring? And so, yes, that did come with exploring various hot springs that were in Japan. I paid a visit to what's called it's north. Wow, I'm forgetting the name of the Kinosaki Onsen. I almost forgot.
Nice.
But it's basically an onsen town, and you can stay at a ryokan, you can stay at a bed and breakfast style place and visit the different onsen that are in this one town. So yeah, throughout that time, got a lot of experiences, a lot of hot dips into to the onsen waters, and had a really great time. It was a very, very learned experience.
I personally am connected. I did do you know the Kimono Kodo pilgrimage in Japan?
No.
To the temple. So I did that, and we stayed in an onsen town, a hot springs town, and everyone had a hot springs, even at their, you know, where they lived in the cottages and stuff. And then we would travel up the mountain, and it was so beautiful and serene, and you could actually see clouds that were coming from the hot springs that were covering the mountains. And it was just like an amazing experience. So it's so cool to see that you've created something that kind of captures that feel. Can you talk about how like the mechanics play in, like how you develop the mechanics and what you kind of got going next with the mechanics?
Yeah. So, you know, again, this is certainly borrowing inspiration from a hot spring. You know, I would say if you go to your own hot spring, the experience that you're not going to have is somebody mixing ingredients and tossing that into the water for you. But we wanted to create something that could be manageable, you know, kind of borrowing some of the fun themes that you'd see in other management games. And so your goal as the protagonist in this game is to sort the various customers that are entering your onsen and match the ingredient that they need, and dumping both of those things into the baths, all within a timely manner. Each customer has a certain meter above their head, which is kind of an indication of how much patience they have before they leave, and you don't get any points. You're just gonna fly right through that dialogue like that?
Yeah, like you just.
I'm getting back in it.
You're chopping it up, son.
I gotta get back in it. I'm all about it. I read this already, homie. No.
Yeah. I'm ready to see what kind of score you have. But yeah, you know, so that's the main mechanic, and then there are various permutations on that. You know, different customers that you'll visit, or that will visit your onsen, as well as some key customers called yokai, which are spirits and come in a few forms, I would say.
Yeah, I saw when I played last night. I saw one of the spirits, the black with the cyclops.
The Umibozu.
What was it?
Umibozu, which is
Umibozu.
water monk in Japanese. These are all yokai that you can if you go to Google, take your pick for research, but they are all yokai that exist within Japanese culture and have fun stories to associate with them. I would encourage anybody who's interested in taking a deep dive, pun not intended, for what yokai are. Check out the Kappa and read that story, because that one's pretty telling as well.
What kind of are you? So I've played a few of the levels, and the layout is really interesting in some of them. Like some of them you have all the baths in the middle, and there's like a village where people are walking around. You have to pull the right ones, or sometimes they'll just jump in. Are there other additional mechanics that you're perfecting right now for the game?
Right. So just as you pointed out, some of the main ones that we focus on are changing the layout of the level, or where the player has to navigate to interact with these ingredients and customers. The other thing that we are balancing out right now, which is, I believe it's in the second stage, is enchantments. And so there will be another sort of podium or post that you'll have to grab an item from and slap that onto the bath as well for some other testy customers.
That's really interesting. Can you describe kind of, so you're now, you're also are you co-hosting Wholesome Direct?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I know that you've been in Wholesome Direct, right?
I have, yeah. I've had the pleasure of being a part of Wholesome Direct and speaking about On Semester, as well as having an On Semester track in the Wholesome vinyl. And so,
that's so dope.
That was really fortunate. Yeah, we have a special release track on that vinyl.
That's cool. I may have got my lines crossed for that one.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what this Wholesome Direct brings.
Yeah. It's gonna be dope. So, can you talk about like your experience, as a Black game developer with the community, and how that's kind of evolved over the past couple years with everything going on, from your from your experience?
My experience specifically, everybody's going to have some similarities and some pivots from sort of the Black experiences and relating to games. And I think one thing that probably is in that echo chamber is this seeking of resource. Working on Semester has led me to other connections, to build connections with other people that have led to more opportunities. And so, this game starting from a hobbyist project to now being able to look forward to having a sustainable studio that can make other games centered on BIPOC narratives. I'm really thankful about that. In addition to my experience, I'm a part of the education sphere, and so wanting to give back and teach would-be developers and growing up students that are growing up in that space the tools that they need. That's been another avenue that has been pursued pretty heavily, and so all those things to say, like, I can't wait for what comes next, not only at Awakening Unit Games, but the other developers that are now getting the resources they need to create projects.
And are you going to be using your studio as a pipeline for those folks to come in and learn from you?
Absolutely. One of the things that is a small avenue to that right now, one of the things that I do is stream on Twitch and provide game development as well as updates on what we're working on. And so that usually comes with things like prototyping, talking about On Semester, playing games, but that's been expanded a little bit further. And so I'll be involved in some education spaces, teaching game design programs and 3D modeling, as well as illustration.
Awesome. We'd love to have you come and be a guest at Gameheads as a speaker, because we typically have developers of color on, and to sort of share their industry experience. The students would love to talk to you about your experience with building On Semester and everything you're working on with your studio. Yeah,
let me know. I would love to chat more, and I'm always here as a parent and expecting another one on the way. It's really important for me to thank you very much. It's really important for me to be able to create experiences that can center people that look like us, but also bring the whole family together on the couch. And so that's kind of what On Semester's pillar is, and what the other games to follow will be.
It's definitely.
What are some of the? Are you working on multiple titles at once?
I am.
Nice.
So yeah, but I can share a little bit more on those in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the ones that is that's public now, as far as some of the ongoing projects, definitely had the pleasure of working with some other talented developers for an event that was sponsored by Google Stadia. We were very lucky to receive some funding from them to continue the pursuit of this project that we created for a sort of game jam event. And so it is a miniature robot fighting game that you can look forward to more news coming.
Oh, dope. So it hasn't been announced yet, or you just did it for the game jam and it's kind of, you're still like grinding on it?
The game jam game that you can seek out is called Bushido Bots, and that is the project that we will be continuing forward. I don't know what shape or form it will take per se, but in essence, it will be the project that you can see or reach out and search for now. So all that's public. That's all stuff that's announced in articles and all those types of things.
Yeah, definitely keep sharing that stuff with us as you continue your development efforts. We'd love to see sneak peeks of anything you're working on as well. So with this game, are you going to be doing additional DLC for the game and things of that nature?
We have been talking about that one a lot. Own Semester originally was scoped to be a much larger title, and for that to go out as a first game seemed a little unwise and probably would stretch our scope out. I don't know how long I'd be talking about this game for the next handful of years. But as an answer to that, to still want to pursue, designing some of the levels that we had in the back of our mind, we are going to work on some additional content after the game releases. Might take the form of some updates, as well as one or two more levels. So, but we'll see.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, the game is super fun.
Yeah.
Like I played an earlier version of it, and it's cool to be able to play some of the different levels, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of it when it's out. Where can we find you, and where can we find the game? Did you guys announce everywhere it's going to be released?
Yep. So Own Semester is releasing on PC and console. I can't say exactly which ones per se, but you can catch all those individual updates on the Twitter account, which is Waking Oni Games. And then if you want to hear from me, it's just Waking Oni.
All right.
Yeah, shout out to Derek Fields. Thank you so much. And we're going to catch you next week also on the GameSpot stream. That's going to be really dope. Right. Like, you had a really great conversation with Timur. So looking forward to that. You guys should check that out. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your game for sure.
Love the game.
Appreciate being here. Thanks for the invite.
All right. The game is really dope. You caught on mad quick.
Oh yeah, I like the game, man. The main mechanics work really well. It's something that that the right trigger thumb sort of getting that going. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Next up, we have a power couple, Tyrell and Whitney White Guardian Studios with Celestial Tear, Demon's Revenge. Check out the trailer.
The Celestial Tear. Perilous universe to a place we once called home. Taken away by a parasitic entity, we forge a new refuge on a new planet. A place filled with hope and life. There may still be time to prepare. From the darkness, we will combat this malice. War is coming.
That was a dope trailer, Celestial Tier, Demon's Revenge. It reminds me of old school classic RPGs. I love the non-chibi style. But we have Tyrell and Whitney White online with White Guardian Studios.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Let me.
No problem. We're excited to come on here and talk about a little bit of things that we're doing.
You guys are doing so much. Like, I'm just
over.
gonna call you guys the.
Scoot over.
Yeah, you guys gotta. I want to see your head in the in the frame.
Can you see it?
Tyrell?
I think that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you guys are the power couple. I'm just gonna call you guys the power couple. You guys are just like showing like pixel art, fighting games, RPGs, action RPGs. It's just so amazing. Like, and your involvement in the community in general. Alfonso's gonna be
jumping in,
checking out Demon's Revenge. To me, it kind of came out of nowhere. Can you guys just kind of talk, because you guys are working on so much, can you guys talk about Demon's Revenge?
Yeah. So Demon's Revenge, this was actually a game that was released back in 2015.
Oh,
we had did a Kickstarter that
It may require a keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one.
Keyboard. We had did a Kickstarter for it back in 2014. It was actually a couple Kickstarters before that, and it kind of sort of gave us the confidence to go on and do all the stuff that we do now. I think this was a game that we took to PAX Prime, and that same year, PAX Prime 2015 when it was
We did
PAX
Prime 2015, yes.
Yeah. So PAX Prime 2015, and like we really got a chance to really get in and see the industry and meet a lot of people in the industry, and from there we kind of just took that and went on our way. But with Demon's Revenge, very specifically, this is an earlier version of the game. We're actually sort of redoing this game and making it better.
Yes.
Because we learned a lot of things since that point, and we started to implement those changes and make it a lot better, and increase the resolution, and tighten up animations, and doing a bunch of stuff with that. So a lot of people did like this version of the game, but we aim to improve it.
Yes.
You're like way down, like your mouth is like a.
Okay.
I don't know how to.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, we just need to unplug the keyboard and replug it.
Yeah. So with that, you mentioned that all the stuff that we do, all different type of games that we sort of make or we sort of been involved with, and a lot of that is just us, that early experience within games, right? So we end up working on a couple of games since as a Demon's Revenge, and we kind of didn't have a lot of time to work on our own projects. There was a game we got involved with that was called, what was the game?
Amori.
Amori was one that just released recently. Before that was Revenant Prince, and before that was a couple of other smaller games.
Yeah.
So, but we kind of stayed in the RPG genre with that. And the other stuff that we got involved with was dealt with a lot of indie comics. And
yeah, that's awesome.
And from that, we sort of got brought along with the game called The Union was one of the iterations that sort of came from that. So that was one of the games. And every time we sort of made a new project, we got involved with something else from somebody else that we got paid to do. So we ended up doing that.
Yeah.
So through all those years and making, trying to come up with different prototypes and making different games, we came up with this thing called the Celestial Tier, which pretty much was a combination of comics and games. So all those prototypes that we end up making during that time are going to be used into creating the Celestial Tier. So this is like our flagship game of Demon's Revenge. Lost World is involved in that as well. And we got a couple more surprises with that as well. So you'll see elements from this game that's also going to be in Lost World and then somewhere, or some things we
and
reference.
The Union.
Yeah.
and the other projects.
Yeah.
All the other projects, but our main projects are Demon's Revenge and Lost World. So that's always in the forefront of everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So, and to sort of help and continue to keep that interconnectivity with these games, we also have these weekly comics that we do called Celestial Tier Weeklies, and we have those on Webtoon, Tapas, and our website. And what those things do is they sort of create a sort of, you're always connected. There's always something to check out with Celestial Tier, and there's always some lore or something interesting that's involved with these games that we have going on just about all the time.
Was it your idea initially to create like a whole universe, or was it like you were making so many cool things, you're like, hey, let's just figure out how to tie these things together? He's just
so originally I started creating Demon's Revenge like way before I met Tyrell, and then when we met, he was also creating his own game called Erupt, right? So we just kind of started working together, and we were trying to figure out ways of how to put his characters in my world and my characters in his world, and then we created the Celestial Tier, and now everything's kind of just merged, and it's a whole universe, a bunch of characters, a bunch of lore, and soon to be a bunch of games.
Wait, so you guys met as solo developers working like in different areas, and then you guys came together for your love of, I'm just making up the narrative right now. You guys, it's so interesting. I want to hear how you guys met.
Well, we met at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, and I was doing culinary arts, and Whitney was doing game design. Well, she wasn't doing game design.
I was doing graphic art and design because they had told me that I couldn't draw, so I needed to learn how to draw before I went into game design. So I thought that was stupid, but I was there for that. And it was good because, you know, I met him, and now we have like this whole game universe thing going on.
Cooking up games, you know?
Yeah, cooking and games.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I actually graduated from the Art Institute from San Diego, and I can tell you that like unequivocally it was ass. But I did meet amazing people there, you know, and I did get a technical learn a technical mindset for 3D art and design and game design, so can't hate on it too hard.
So how do you sort of, you know, separate the work from the you know, relationship, because you're working together, obviously you're in relationships together, so is there like, do you have a routine for sort of like separating out the work from the personal?
Like
no, we work together. Well, he does all the art direction, marketing, and I do code. Sometimes I do a little HR and managing the finances and all that stuff. But we also have 6 kids that we have to worry about on top of our game development.
You got 6 kids?
Yes. And so we have to worry about, and you guys might hear them because, you know, it's hard to keep babies quiet for a very long period of time, or even just a short period of time. So you might hear them but hopefully not. But yeah, so we have to worry about that, and then the when it comes to work, we just work together all the time, and you know, we wouldn't have it any other way. Or I wouldn't have it any other way. Because,
that's amazing. I don't know. I don't. There's
and
people
because
who
we
can't
do
manage
separate
6 kids
things.
not work together.
He's clowning.
I mean, but we're making it happen, and you know. We just have to keep going.
It's so awesome because you guys are so passionate. You know, every time I talk to Tyrell, or the last few times, we just go on tangents for hours. I'm like, yo, I only got 10 minutes, and we end up talking about hours about old school fighting games and brawlers and the state of the industry, and it's
the game's
like just now when they were talking about marketing, right? In the group, I was like, because you experience a lot of things, and then you can see a lot. Like one thing I wanted to say in that group about it, I'm just gonna say this, I'm gonna end it because I'm going through it, is that how powerful the YouTube and Twitch things could be to actually get your game out of it. That is like number one, right? For really getting people through experience, not like how we're doing this here, to get people experience, but not just your channel. If you can flood YouTube and Twitch with your content, you can really get a lot of eyes on you. Don't matter how big or small, but you can really sort of get your eyes on it. And I'm gonna just stop there because I can go on and on about marketing because he mentioned it. But
yeah, I'm not the marketing person.
Yeah.
He goes out and he talks to all the people, and I'm like the person in the background that's like, did you get something going yet?
Yeah,
that's pressure. You need that pressure.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yes, but I can go ahead. I can talk. I love talking about games, and I like talking about like the process of developing them. And again, as we have gone, as we have progressed and created games, you know, the more you know, the less you actually the less you actually understand. The more you know, the more that you know that you don't know. I guess that's the way of putting it.
That's right.
Like in Pocahontas when she says, "You learn things you never knew you never knew."
Wow, you busted out a Pocahontas quote on the stream. That is on point. Can you talk a little bit about kind of your struggles as, Black game developers, making games, and you guys are making a lot of stuff. It doesn't have to be struggles. It could also be like successes and what you've experienced in space.
I think one thing that I'll say, I think one funny thing that happened is when we were in PAX, and it's like this white guy came behind. I guess he wanted to see what we was making, and then he looked on the screen and he looked at us. He was like, "Well, you don't see. There's not a lot of people like you here." And I thought it was interesting, and I laughed because I was like, I was like, it's not a lot, right? Because you walk and you see that space, and you like, whoa, where's all the black people?
Yeah, I would say that's really funny too, and a lot of us, folks just kind of realize that is game development is first. Like, we feel like we're artists and game developers first. And then when that comes up, it's like a layered secondary or, a third thing that pops up outside of that. Or like when you're trying to find funding or you're trying to get into a position or whatever, that's when it's like, oh, wow, like I got to figure some different angles out and that type of thing. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, it's I think our approach to it is that we really, you don't know how to use the tool. It's like we really just, I think the number one thing is like when you go ahead and you put your image in something, right? Or you put your perspective. One thing that we had was about this game, right? This game in particular had a lot to do with people being given labels and people receiving and looked at in another person's perspective, and they're being persecuted for it, right? And when we were working on it, the particular people who we were working on it, once they sort of found out what it was, they basically were telling us that no, that's not what this is about, right? So, yeah.
Somebody's telling you what your game is about. I love that.
Oh yeah, they're but I think once they caught wind of that, they didn't want to invest as much as they initially did, right? Because of that sort of message. It wasn't even like a real hard one. It was like, because I was told, because before we started the stream, Whitney was like, as she does, because she don't like my marketing tactic. And I was explaining, I was explaining to her, oh, no problem. I was explaining to her what the game could be, what the game is ultimately. Because this version of the game is more like a demo of sorts of what we're actually planning to do with it. So I explained to her, this game is like if you took Castlevania and made it a JRPG, but instead of playing in the perspective of the monster hunters, you're playing in the perspective of the monsters, like Dracula, like Frankenstein and things like that, right? Like witches. But the difference here is that the monsters.
We keep like that's hilarious. He keeps getting killed. Yeah, so we had like a little bit of a technical difficulty on the, the keyboard thing. So our producer was actually playing while looking at the stream, so we were jumping back and forth. But yeah, that's interesting to see how you've integrated, that storyline in a very gorgeous game.
Yeah, it's visually
Thank
stunning. You guys have done an amazing job with the game. The gameplay is really smooth, and I like the story as well. So I think that having these alternative stories is really important.
Thank you.
So this is the thing. We're on Black Voices Gaming. We're talking to developers of color. To other developers of color, what were the things or particular challenges that you say like are unique to developers of color that you want to share with folks?
I think I'll go back to that thing about when you have, and I don't know how much this hurts you in general, but you do get a lot of flack. Like especially now, if you have like you have a certain character, or if you're looking at a certain perspective, you're considered a woke. You're considered woke, like woke PG or woke. What's it called? Wokeavania, right? Or something like that. Just because your image.
Yeah.
Just because your image or something there, or either if you just put like a woman or something and something like that. You if you're part of these groups, these marginalized groups, you get sort of that label. And I think for a lot of people that may be discouraging if you don't just have like when we do stuff, we just sort of like stomp straight through it. We just go straight through it, and we really don't try to we try to keep our eye on the pack. We're doing a lot of things that people may say, you're doing too much, and we don't care. This is what we want to do, and this is what our plan is. Like just to say we had a lot of games. It's like, no, this is what we're doing because nobody else is doing it, and we feel like this is something unique, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put all these forward. So I think when you're trying to get your vision, your perspective out there, you could get a lot of back, especially when you're working with publishers, right? Because that publisher may not be comfortable with the message that you're trying to put out there. So you have to be very careful with who you work with.
Have you been in a particular publishing situation that you felt that way?
I plead the fifth.
This is a tell-all. No, I'm just kidding. You can't. You don't want to burn them bridges, but I totally understand that. Just in a political sense.
In the past.
You guys are also you're in the the Black Game Developer Fund, the Humble Black Game Developer Fund. So congrats on that. How is that particular game going, and do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. So we're making Celestial to the Lost World, which is a JRPG where you eat monsters to survive.
Yes.
In this game, we're mixing elements of I guess tower defense, survival. We store JRPG story elements in like a smidgen of Pokemon, just a dash.
Yeah,
right. Just a
or
dash.
Digimon, it could be.
And it takes
either way.
Yeah, Digimon. Oh, Digimon's a good one. And it takes place like on this lost planet.
That's
in
amazing.
This the opposite of the universe, the anti-universe. But I say opposite very specifically because it is what the universe is fighting against. Because the Celestial Tier in general is sort of the universe, how it conflicts against each other, the different elements. Virtue versus corruption, and destruction versus creation. And it's basically how the universe sort of. So that's what you're in the anti-universe. You're in the bad place. And here, the monsters like Pokemon, how you have like fire and water. We kind of model these elements off of things that you couldn't recycle, and things are like toxic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about like glass and plastic, things that can be destroyed, or they may be harmful, or harmful chemicals to the environment. So you're playing these three characters stranded on this planet, and they have to look for their crew. They have to survive, and they have to find a way to escape. You go through a couple of different biomes that are very different. It's a lot of Lovecraftian elements to it as well, where there's these sort of, I guess in Lovecraft you would call them what they call like Cthulhu, like old gods or something like that, right? And there's things that's going on, that's mystery that's going on. You have these people, these nomads there. So It's
there's gonna be factions.
Yeah.
All different kinds of monsters, like cool monsters that we call gorlings. Which, by the way, our children have designed them first.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like stole their ideas.
Oh yeah.
That's
so cool. Some of them, a lot, like I think it's like 90% of them were designed by our oldest children.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool seeing them come to life in the game.
I paid them.
We paid him. Calm down. It's not free labor.
Yeah, you paid him by like giving them a roof over their head. That's what you pay him.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I paid him. You know what? I sat down with him because it's funny when we did it. He sort of experienced that sort of he got that real world experience. I woke him up in the morning. We went downstairs. We wrote the things on paper. We had descriptions. We wrote the stats. He had to write a small story blurb to describe the monsters. He did a bunch of them. I curated a bunch and put the best out there. And they were really good.
I had the final say because, you know, sometimes you gotta filter out. He's the filter and I'm the okayer. So
okay. Okay. So you make the final decision.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
she's not fun to work with.
I'm very particular about things.
Yes, very particular.
We gotta have that balance. Maybe we can we toss up the trailer again? Yeah, we're gonna toss up the trailer because what's really interesting is you have the gameplay of Demon's Revenge, but you also have some of the comic book elements, and I think it's really interesting that you have this multimedia company, right? Like you're doing comic books, you're doing animation, you're doing games. So can you talk about like that other aspect of the story development?
So speaking of that, we have something called the Celestial Tier Experience that we're working on. And that's part of this sort of interconnected thing that goes on with Celestial Tier. Part of that, and as you see in this thing, one of our things that we do in all our games,
the Celestial Tier.
The motion comics are
to a
usually
place
played at the
we
very
once
beginning
called home.
Especially sometimes in between. And one of the things that we're doing, especially with the new versions of Demon's Revenge, is that we're having the
taken away by a parasitic entity.
We're having the new version sort of made like a comic book, right? So we're sort of breaking those down into issues, and then when they're done, it'll be like a trade, right? And at the beginning, we give like the intro to the book, and at the end we give ending, and then the next one is we sort of recaps that at the beginning. So with Celestial Tier Experience, in the Celestial Experience, with all our games, with everything that we're doing, the locations, the items, the characters, we have all those profiles and things there. We got music from our games. We got news for things that's coming up. There's access to games and little special things that you can unlock by participating with the free app called the Celestial Tier Experience. And with that, we just want people, the fans who are interested in our games, what we're doing, to just be, like we said, we want them to stay connected. And our slogan with White Guardian Studios is where comics and games collide. And that's pretty much what we really want to do going forward. Another thing with a Celestial Tier and Celestial Experience, the thing behind that is a perilous place called home, right? Because we're working on the yin and yang thing with Celestial Tier. So a perilous place means something dangerous, but it's home. And what is home? Home is something that's comfortable. Home is something that you feel fine in being. But both of these things sort of exist. It's like our world and our universe that we live in. It's a perilous place, but it's also a place that we call. So that's sort of a thing that that's like our message. That's like our central theme that we do with everything. Is that whatever piece of good, there may be something that's regressive. And I think and the reason why our message is like that is because I think it's better for people to sort of come to that conclusion that every day is not going to be a sunny day. Yeah. That sunny day is only a sunny day because it's dark sometimes. Right. And to understand, when you understand that things like that happen, you feel like you have more control over what goes on because you're not blind. Oh, why these bad things always happen? Bad things happen because good things happen as well, and we kind of go through that within our. Yeah. I could talk.
I like that. You can see. It's a great message.
I mean, it's really good though. Like, talk about some of your influences for the games that you make. I think that that's really interesting. We all are influenced by, you know, different genres and that kind of thing and have inspiration.
Well, I'm going to go with the gameplay in this one first, and then we're going to talk about some other things. But the gameplay in this one, a lot of classic RPGs. When we talk about the map stuff, one of the things that I want to do personally was whenever you walk, there's always something to do. When he was playing, the beehives were attacking him, right? You could use a tool to grab those beehives. And in the newer version, you don't have to grab the beehive, but if you do, you end up getting something for that character that's going to make that, that's going to add something special to the character for grabbing it. You know, like it's a collection, but it's something that gives you, I always wanted, when you play JRPGs, a lot of times you sort of roam around without doing anything. I wanted you to be active in whatever you go in the game so that there's not a point that there's not something going around. But when you go in battle, one of the things that we want to do was, again, we wanted you to be active. We wanted you to be very active. So there's a combo system. And within the combo system, there's hard, there's medium, there's light. When you do the light attacks, we wanted to make, although it does a lot less damage, it's the most accurate, but something else that's very important with it is that it increase your accuracy for the rest of your attacks. So you may do a low cost, low effective move, right? Because it doesn't do that much damage, but it actually increases your chance of doing the highest damage, which is the hard damage. And you want to do the hard damage because it makes your sort of your power meter go up, like your rage meter, and that allows you to do what we call combo finishers, which could be like what you would find like Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that, where you do your hyper move, right? So that's one thing we wanted was for you to be active, for you to have something interesting to do, something interesting visuals to see within there. So a lot of that really came from the games that we played in the past, because even when we did that system, it was like we ended up finding out about Xenogears later. And we're like, that's
like we had never played it before, but then we
really?
Heard about Xenogears, and it was like carbon copy kind of.
Yeah, almost
a carbon copy.
Almost. So my big JRPG reference for the game that we made is Wild Arms. I like Wild Arms Second Edition.
Wild Arms was dope. I remember, I remember when that came out right before Final Fantasy VII. I was like, I gotta play.
Yeah,
it was like real chunky.
Yeah,
it was dope. That's cool.
And then my inspiration for this game was games like Suikoden 2 and Legend of Dragoon. Like those were extremely important to the development of this game. Like the sprite style is like directly from Suikoden 2.
As far as the actor sprites.
It's the sizes and the look and it all came together. And you know, we got the puzzle elements like from Wild Arms.
Yeah.
Then we also have the story driven content that we felt the flow of it would be the flow of Suikoden 2 is like kind of the flow that we wanted to put in our game. Like it just kept going and going and going, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, and that's something we're implementing in the new version. I think another thing to say is the battle sprites were heavily inspired by Capcom sprites.
Yeah,
right? And the big thing with that is, you know, I look back on it and I say, oh, we did a decent job, but the job that we're doing now and the help that we have now going into that is going to be it's already phenomenal. There's some of the animations that we're going to be able to do with the battle, and learning that and implementing that back into Lost World as well. The animations, the tiles, the environments, you know, those are looking fantastic. Again, that came from experience, and I think that's one of the things that when you're starting games, we start making. I think one message that people say is, you know, just go ahead and start. I think about anything, just go ahead and start, because you're probably not going to be as good as you want to be when you start it. But having your experience and continuing to go on, you're going to get better and better, and you're going to make a bigger and better thing, right? And that's like exactly this. Like we started, and even when if you look at our past Kickstarters, the game went from one thing to another. It kept getting better. Our marketing efforts got better. We started understanding everything a little bit better just because we did it and we just kept doing it no matter what. But you always have an end goal as well, right? And I think that really goes into making games. I think one of the things that, because you mentioned it before, we got the Humble Fund, and the Humble Fund has increase the quality and the value and the things that we're able to do and the time that we're able to do things. And I think a lot of that because there wasn't a lot of resources that we as Black developers had in the past, right? And now there's a little bit of things that's coming up, and it's making things a lot better. But what it does and how to increase the quality of our products, we can compete with anybody. You know what I mean? Nice. We can get if we're just with the fun, and you show that we can compete.
It's just that when he uses marketing speak or marketing lingo like products and stuff, it just
you can't
burns
your soul.
It grinds my gears.
I get it.
It burns my soul.
It's so interesting.
I feel like it's passion, but when you put the word product into it, it's like
it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, we do have to market it, but at the same time, like.
But you got to understand.
It's getting hot in there real quick. It's getting hot.
Yeah. But you got to. The whole thing about it, like.
So just to jump in real quick, I think we're going to probably have to wrap up in a second, but I think that what's interesting that we were talking about that because I feel torn. I'm an artist too, but I also have to do production. And so I find myself cringing when I say stuff, but sometimes it just rolls off the top because where are we at right now? We're on IGN, GameSpot, Twitch. I have to talk to these folks, and we have to talk technical. And I'm like, hey, look at the sprite that's above us. We got B-Boy Buttons scratching on the ones and twos. We got the dope logo on the bottom by Abe. But at the same time, I got to talk about our package is ready for here. The product will be ready. You know what I mean? And it's kind of corny, but at the same time, I kind of feel it. And it's funny because you guys can pull it apart, but sometimes like by myself now it's better because I got Joel over there who can pull it apart. He's raising his hand, but like I have to just switch into these different roles. It's cool that you guys are able to work together as a power couple and do that.
Yeah. But I'll say this about the business.
Okay. I think they froze.
Oh.
All right. Well, we're going to say to peace out to Tyrell and Whitney White, and then we will come back with our next game, which is Andrew Augustin with Notion Games Ubi Island 2. Awesome. That was Ubi Island 2, and coming up in a few minutes, we will have Andrew Augustin. We're gonna go to a quick break right now, and then we will come back and play some Ubi Island 2.